Hey guys, I'm back with another analysis video, and in this one we'll try to uncover what the professional players do in order to stay alive as long as possible in competitive games when down to one or two players. So if you want to learn the strategy and tricks they use, stick around. Alright, so let's start with game 4 of the FPP tournament on PGI. So in this game we'll try to follow Team Liquid's thought process after losing two players relatively early in the game and being completely surrounded. So after losing Samty and James, Ibiza and Scoom decided that it's time to leave the edge of the circle because they're getting pushed from 3 or even 4 different teams, as you can see here. So they had cars next to them and they just decided, okay, let's just grab the cars, get the hell out of here as soon as possible, and go for the middle of the circle and try to play the middle. When your idea and your spot in the circle has been compromised, you might as well be really greedy in the early game and try to go for the center instantly, because ending 19th or 15th is really no difference. It yields so little points. You should try to be greedy in this situation and get to the center. So what do you do now once you got to the center of the circle with 2 remaining players on your team? And Team Liquid here decided to split up and hide in different places, different spots, relatively close to the center of the circle. A lot of teams would try to fight for their position, but in a circle with 0 hard cover, for example, no houses, it's almost impossible to win fights versus full squads coming in your way. Even though Team Liquid players are probably one of the best in the world, which they've proven in the tournament, they respected their opponents and they went for the snake play with the 2 remaining players. Alright, so next circle pops and they're inside, but they choose to reposition, be even more greedy. Right now, when the circle pops, you have some time to reposition before everyone else starts moving in. So Scoom does a beautiful move and moves in to the opposite side of the circle. And now they're in a prime position to live out to top 5 at least, which is obviously a solid result considering what happened earlier. So the first option in squad games, if you're down to 1 or 2 players, is being really greedy. If you're a snake, moving is typically not an option because you're gonna get spotted. And there's also a chance that there's no one in the middle of the circle when there's no hard cover, because it's really hard to defend it in squad games. So the perfect example for this is game 3, where Samty and Ibi were in the middle of the circle, hidden behind cars and trees, and just waiting out for the fights to finish around them. So they had 2 4-man teams, one on the east, one on the west, and then they had Vard on the south. They were just sitting in the middle and minding their own business, and they couldn't get shot. Perfect spot for the 2 players to live out till the end. And what happened in the end is everyone died and Samty had a 1v3 fight, which he lost, but you cannot expect to win 1v3s like that. But anyway, it's a top 2 finish. They probably got second most points from that game. So really great effort from Liquid, playing the same way as they did in the game before. So now if we follow what WTSG did in game 2, we can see the same pattern. So they're still 2 players, but they're a bit more aggressive team, so they're gonna try to play with 2 players like a normal game without snaking and splitting up. But after Larson lost his teammate, he says, okay, you know what, it's time to be greedy, go in the center, get a nice spot, and just prone and just hope for the best. Okay, now let's check out what Vard from WTSG did in game 5 on Miramar. So Miramar is a bit different because you cannot snake that much, But there's some other things you can do on Miramar, so let's see what he did. So Vard lost all of his teammates, and we can see the same pattern again. I'm alone. If I have a chance, I'm gonna go to the middle. So that's what he did. And he gradually, over the next 2 minutes, he got in a really decent spot within the center. You can actually see how he took it in increments. He would go 100 meters, then prone, just listen for sounds, listen where the other teams are, and then move again 100 meters. And eventually he got across the road, which is where you want to be in this circle. Because the guys on the north side of the circle will probably have to cross the road at some point, which is never a thing you want to do in PUBG. So now we come to the really interesting part. Vard decides to aggressively defend his position. Even though he's completely alone, other teams don't necessarily know that. Actually, they probably have no clue that he's alone. So he's gonna defend his position and force the northern teams to go somewhere else, try to find a different route to get across the road, because you can see the circle's kind of pressing on them to cross. Unfortunately for Vard, Team Liquid decided to cross anyway, although they lose EB in the process and Vard gets the finishing blow. And at that point, the only thing you can do on Miramar is actually try to fight the guys. Some kind of third-party fight would be the best. And he does a great job. He gets 3 out of 4 and then gets finished by Samty. So in the end, it didn't work out, but I hope that you got the idea of having an aggressive stance on an open map like this and just defending your position and forcing people to go around you. So the main points I wanted to get across are: number 1, be greedy, and number 2, be aggressive when the timing's right. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.